There are some common terminologies like architecture style, architecture pattern, design pattern, and design principle. People often get confused with these terminologies. I want to clarify what each one of these mean in this video. Let's start with architecture style. Architecture style basically defines the overall shape of the system. This is what we see when we look at the system from far away. It answers questions like whether the system is deployed as one unit or many units, whether the system is a centralized system or distributed system. And some of the examples for architecture style includes things like monoliths, microservices, and event-driven system. Basically, architecture style sets the stage for everything else. So this is the encompassing thing. Within this, we have everything that is part of a system. Next, let's look at architecture pattern. Architecture pattern is basically reusable solution to recurring system level problems. So this is very important. This is talking about system level problem. We use this architecture pattern wherever it fits. These architecture pattern doesn't define the whole system. These are just parts of the system. These will solve a problem within a system. Examples for this architecture pattern includes things like MVC pattern, which is model view controller pattern. And we have another pattern called CQRS, which is command query responsibility segregation pattern. And we also have Saga pattern. This is useful for distributed transactions. And at the infrastructure level, we have something like API gateway. This is an example for architecture pattern as well. This is useful to make sure all the incoming requests are adhering to the policies that we have defined. Next, let's look at design pattern. Design pattern basically works at code level. So this solves design problem inside a service or component. So this is where it differs. Architecture pattern solves the problem at system level. Here, the design pattern solves the problem at code level within a service or a component. So this is the important distinction between architecture pattern and the design pattern. Design pattern helps us to organize class, functions, and objects. So the code is flexible enough to cope with the changes, and also it is maintainable and readable. Examples for design pattern includes things like factory pattern, strategy pattern, and observer pattern. Basically, design pattern live inside the architecture. Within the architecture, we'll have components, and when we develop some of those components, we will use design patterns to solve some of the common problems at code level. Next, let's look at design principles. Design principles are nothing but shared guidelines that help you to make consistent decisions. They don't define any structure or boundaries or anything like that. They are just guiding principles. They just guide you to make right judgments. Examples for design principles includes things like solid principle. We have KISS, which is keep it smart and simple. And we have dry principle, which is don't repeat yourself. And we also have one more thing called YAGNI, which is you ain't gonna need it. So these are some of the well-known examples for design principles. There are many more, and you can define your own design principle which is suitable for your organization or project as well. So basically, these principles will help you to make a shared, consistent decision for the problem that you will face. So basically, we have looked at what is architecture style, and then we looked at what is architecture pattern. Then we looked at what is design pattern. Then we also saw how design pattern is different from architecture pattern. And finally, we have seen design principles. Okay, so that is all I wanted to cover in this video. I hope this is useful. Thank you.